So we will talk about LinkedIn. It's something that I think in COVID just blossomed. The networking opportunities, the events, all these kind of stuff just disappeared, and LinkedIn is like the virtual hub for those. So I personally began my LinkedIn, like I made the account and actually activated it in 2020, and so it was like the perfect timing to just catch up on the wave. I know so many, I looked for so many resources on LinkedIn. All I could find is just like starting from scratch, insert your bio, insert your picture, those kind of stuff, which is like super basic. But those don't make a successful LinkedIn account. You can't just like expect your like account to blossom by following those base steps. But thing is, I couldn't find any other like advanced or like more experienced tips to go over to just like hop on the base. So this will be this is meant to be super like give you the hacks, like super casual, a sense of our experience. LinkedIn is done for in like 100 ways. There you can find so many different ways to express yourself, your profession, um, and it just goes back like to your network and what do you aim for, like what's your purpose. So we will try to sum up like some of the base tips and tricks and send it by email at the end of this. But just screenshot stuff and write notes, um, because this will definitely help you, and you won't find it on Google. So that's an added value. Introductions. The LinkedIn way. As you can see, LinkedIn, this is like the tip of my profile, which is meant to give you like a quick glance of who this person is. LinkedIn is all about personal branding. It's the one thing that you need to stand out, and it's the one thing that appearances matter in it. It's meant to like keep you curious. It's meant to give you like a glimpse of what this person is, but not too much because you need to go and chat with them and actually connect. I'd like to know, like, from this tip of the profile, what can you see? um what can you conclude? If you can like unmute, use chat, it's like super interactive.
Personally, I can see that like you're super involved in everything relating to technology, especially like with the description under your name. It's the first thing that we can see that it is very like well done and clear.
Exactly. So this description, some people say you need to keep it like short, abstract, and professional, and other people, including me, say you need to keep it as informative and as attractive as possible, because when you comment on something, maybe like it will appear like until this step. It's not the full headline. So you can see that the other tips kind of missing. So you click on the profile to explore more. And this is the hook. It should be the one thing that will drag people into your profile and have profile previews. Um, you can also see that I used shortcuts, but I also we will go into the full profile later. I explain those shortcuts later on. So you need to keep the good balance of like being informative but also abstract, so that you don't repeat yourself and the sentences that you use. Um, you can also see that the pop art like in the cover is, it's not very techy, it's not very like cold and techy, but it's very welcoming, and it also kind of presents, when we follow on with the profile. I like advocacy, I like digital advocacy. So I just googled digital advocacy pictures and I found this profile, so I put it, this cover picture. One thing about the profile is that most people forget that LinkedIn is a social network at the end. So you really need to make sure that it's not like your ID picture where like you're stiff and you're ready to get your visa. You need to get like a picture that's friendly, that shows part of your face. It's okay if it's a selfie, but please don't use filters and like duck face and things like that, because it's not really, it doesn't give a good impression about like how serious you are here. Again, it's all about the balance. You also can see that I added a title that I was like a former logistics co-lead at the MIT Arab Conference. Although it's not very like it's not within the recent positions that I hold, it's something that might get people super interested in continuing my profile, because MIT is like a sexy name, you know. It's like it's an attractive thing that will drag people to continue viewing your profile. So they added the open to tab, which you can see like open to work. It's also a great way to indicate that you're looking for opportunities. I honestly, like, as you can see, I'm very occupied, so I didn't put that label on my picture. There's also a tab where like providing services, which is a good way to like sum up what you can do or what you can provide. It's okay if you don't like have any of those, or like you won't initiate providing services yet. It's usually like generated from the content that you post, you know, the things that the career that you hold. So help like LinkedIn kind of helps you develop and reach the that stage later. So as you can see, overall, kind of the mix of colors, the things, it should be appealing to look at. One more thing is that covers also are a good ad space. I think Asma will iterate on this later. For example, if you have like an event, you're running, maybe like you have, I don't know, you have like an event come up, an initiative, a company, a startup that you're really proud of, you can like have it in your cover. It's a strong statement, and it's a very strategic place to have like something that you want to advocate. So we have Asma. We have a very special guest. Asma is actually one of the LinkedIn profiles that I look up to. I'll leave her to introduce herself, and we'll continue.
Yeah, thank you so much, Seema. By the way, I absolutely adore the colors. They're very vibrant in your profile, both the profile and the cover picture. Yeah, well, hi everyone. My name is Asma. I'm from Morocco. I was a tech girl in 2017, and right now I study computer science at the American University of Beirut in Lebanon. And I think Taima, she covered so many important points. I'm gonna touch on what she mentioned about like organizations and like the cover um, picture. So like as you can see, it's same structure. You know, you have the profile pic. This is a picture I took on campus. It was Eid, and I dressed up, and me and my friend, we just went out and we were like, you know what, we're gonna take pictures. And I really liked it. So because my former picture, as Tema said, like it was kind of too stiff, like too not very dynamic. I think this one has more colors. It shows like the real me, you know. It shows someone who enjoys nature and such. So yeah, definitely try to show who you are. But of course, like while maintaining those professional boundaries is very important. That's for the profile picture. As for my cover picture, as you can see, you can read MENA Research Lab. So MENA Research Lab is an organization that I founded last summer. It's basically, it touches on so many things that I'm passionate about. That's why like it says so many things. This organization aims to mentor undergraduate students into being involved in the world of scientific research through providing them with mentorship and hosting like researchers and like providing them with tools and the kind of everything that they need to succeed as like researchers. And like we want to make the MENA region, the Middle Eastern and North African region, more data oriented. So I choose to include this as my cover letter because you know, it shows, it tells so much about me. It tells that, okay, I founded an organization. It's already something that if people look into, they'll be like, okay, that's really cool. And also because this organization, it's not just anything, any initiative I've worked on. It's something that combines my different passions. So I have a huge passion for education, and I have a huge passion for technology and data, to be specific. So I'm a huge fan of data analysis, and all of that. That's why I choose this like background picture. Yeah, so basically for my description, as you can see, right now I included like 3 titles, which are like my main occupations right now. So right now I'm like working with a startup as a business analyst. And because I'm also seeking business analyst positions at like consulting firms, it's a good position for me to highlight. So like people will look at my profile and be like, okay, see, she's already getting some experience, like the kind of experience we're looking for. And also I'm including like my book. So my book project, I'm writing a book about education in the Middle Eastern and North African region. So it's also something that tells about, okay, like what kind of passions I would have. And also I'm including like, okay, I go to EUB class 2020. Just to go back to that book on education, just to show how much it's really powerful to highlight specific or like the right projects or initiatives you're working on. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's working at Google as a UX designer and at New York. And he was just like telling me, first of all, I just like I literally sent him a message on LinkedIn, like, would you be able to go? Can we go in a call and you could just like tell me more about like Google's work culture, etc. I wasn't looking like for a specific position or anything. He was like, yeah, sure, we can have like a coffee and have that call. And he said, yeah, like how about that book? Like tell me more. And I told him, okay, so like I'm very passionate about education. Like advocacy, like advocating for people's right to have not just education, but the right education, technical skills and all of that. And he was like, wow, that's amazing. Like they have, like, he was like, yeah, at Google, we have a specific division. They work on improving Google's G Suite and all of those, Gmail, all of those, so many tools that Google have. They work on a project to improve those tools for like underprivileged communities all around the world. So for example, how they're researching how could they make those tools more accessible to refugees, for example. So he was like, yeah, I think you would be very interested in like having a look at what they do at that group. So he connected me with those people, and right now I was talking with them and they were like, yeah, I think you would be great for like an internship position with us, or anything. So it's just like, it's very, very important, it's very powerful to highlight what you're doing, like your passions, you just leads you to so many amazing places. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about my profile. I don't want to take longer time.
I think Asma mentioned the great one of the great things about LinkedIn, and the importance of like picking and like designing your type of profile, and especially the type of the profile. You need to make good conversation starters. So it's not always easy to do that in such like an virtual cold space. So having those sparkles and things that differentiate you from anyone else really helps you like open conversations, and find the right connection, which we will hop on like next. So your LinkedIn tells a story that CV can't. um, right from the profile, as we like the tip of the profile, through the about, and going into like skills and recommendations. Those are like very human, um very human, touches that your CV does not have. LinkedIn has this section where you highlight your work and experience, which your CV has, but those are the real deals. People are now heading towards a more like human, um, picking for like when you pick a position, you go through the CV and the experiences part, but they really focus on who you are, what are your values, and what do you bring. Having recommendations is like one of the very, like, it does you can't believe how much credibility that gives to your profile. and having great recommendations as the one from Asma gives your profile a huge boost. You need to make sure that you ask people, like, for example, if I'm working with Asma and on an initiative and it's coming to an end, I can tell her in the call, "Hi Asma, I'm currently like building my LinkedIn profile. Would you mind giving me a recommendation?" And most people like tell you, if you need a recommendation, like Haley, if you need a recommendation, just let me know and I will make it happen. But if not, you can easily approach that, and it's easier to approach that at the end of your work or like in person, other than like sending an email or like a LinkedIn message. And you need to make sure that this person really knows you. For example, Jad was the director of the MIT Lebanon hackathon, and he really knew me, and he was, we became really good friends at the end. So he wrote some personal stuff, and that's what you need. You don't need like, "I recommend Taima for this position because she's great." Okay, now we know, but like, can you tell us, like, from your experience, the deep skills that she has? And you need to make sure also to give people recommendations. You have no idea how arrogant someone looks if they only like have like 5 or 6 recommendations but didn't give any. You know, no way that you don't have anyone in your network that you might um care about, or like want to lift, um and it's just not nice. So you need to make sure like this balance between received and given. You need to also, one of the tricks, you need to make sure that you don't have, like, for example, if I given 2 to Asma and Haley, but then I received 2 from Asma and Haley, it doesn't sound too organic or like natural. Make sure that you keep that in mind as well. um, Going into the about, I think I have a slide that I'm going to my LinkedIn too, but I think it's after this one. But we'll go into details in this one. Overall, like, this is where your credibility is in terms of skills. And it's important that you have people who are ready to endorse you, especially like here, like public speaking. I have Haley who endorsed me in this. You can see that the algorithm picks up your colleagues and like people who are like skilled at this. So it's a really nice um it's a really nice thing to have on your profile. Okay, here it is. Let's take a look. So that's my LinkedIn profile. You can see that we already talked about the type of the profile, but I'm gonna talk about the about. Here, you need to make sure that it's divided into chunks that are readable, but in the same time, they're not like one sentence. You can see that here you need to write like a small summary of what are you in essence. I wrote my name, like what I study, and what I work in, like ICT and advocacy fields. It's just like you need to make sure that you have hooks in every bit of your profile. There's a hook. There's something that will keep you like invite the reader to read more. And this is like a very personal note, or like something about my personality, which follows my like the summary of my experience. So you need to also make sure that you as a human shine in your profile as well. It's not a full resume or CV. And you can also include a quote or something that you really believe in. I love this quote. I have no idea who said it, but "Lift as you climb," and it's something that you can see within my work. You can see within my featured post, which is like those featured stuff is are great. We don't have a timeline or like a profile where you see the posts like Facebook. So this is your place to shine. I need to make sure that it's like it shows like the top things that you did. um it's like it's something that the person goes through it to see your contributions, and what are things that you did. It's also like a hook again. You can see like I have like 346 people who viewed my profile, I think, in the last week. Or the sum, I have no idea those statistics, like to what date, but you can see that like search appearances, those relate very much to your headline and like your overall, or like what keywords do you use, but mainly your headline. So you need to make sure that it's also something that you know, that it's, if someone searches for tech girls, I'll be within those searches. If someone searches for all girls code, I'll be within those searches. So you need to make sure to like to be visible. um Here we can see the activity. It's sort of like, this is not really like something that is like super necessary in LinkedIn, but you know, just do it. Here you can see the experience. One of the most important things is to show your progress or like your promotion. For example, if I worked at this institute and then I got promoted, this really shows that I have commitment, that I progressed, that I don't like leave an institute and then I never come back. And it's one of, that's why I need to pick.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there is a
Yeah,
question from Miss Mina.
yeah.
She says, I have noticed that the about is written in the passive form. Is it better to be written that way?
Yes. So the about is normally, it's like the most professional part of your profile. Everything is kind of, most of them are written in passive form just because it looks fancier, and it's not like basic like it's not like I'm presenting myself here. It's about me, so it's written in the passive form. It's not that I didn't like see much difference when it was written. I was writing it in the first person form, so it's not the most important thing, but it's like um one of the things that gives like this fancy look to your profile. Again, one of the most important things is to know what organizations that you tag. For example, um, for tag girls, I put Legacy International instead of just putting tag girls, just because by putting Legacy, I can see who worked there, and I can be identified as someone who works there. I can show my progress. It's somewhere that they can reference to. I know so many organizations do not exist on LinkedIn, but try to find the closest of those organizations, because the main goal is to network, is for people when they go into legacy, find that, for example, going into legacy, and I want to see other people from Palestine who worked in legacy. So I go to people, and that's where the data that you entered in your profile matters. And I know Asma will love this because it's data related. Here they kind of quantify, you know, people who work here from Palestine, people who work here who went to my school, who people who work here who maybe worked in another institute. So here you can see like all the statistics that you can find people through, and people who can find me through. So it's really important to indicate that and be as close as possible with that. So you can see like I have like 17 connections who work here. Okay. The internet's not like the best thing ever, so hang on. Okay. So this is about the experience. One of the things that I recommend is, I know it's kind of hectic, but try to include your responsibilities. For example, here I included my responsibilities, which is kind of the most important thing about like what did you do within that position. I sometimes be like a little lazy and like just post a description of like the institute or something like this, and then write a little couple lines about like how I feel about this, or like what my main responsibilities might be. It's better to do it, but it's kind of hectic, especially if you're like catching up later and you need to fill all that um, like at one time. One important thing about LinkedIn and updating your work is that it's maybe one of the most effective way to reach all your connections. So when you update your job, a notification will probably like show to like maybe 50% of your connections, while the other might see it on your timeline. So it's a great way for people to say, congrats, let's catch up. Or you say to people, congrats, let's catch up. And you have no idea how like casual catching up might open opportunities. We will talk about this later. Here I want to talk about this section. You need to like figure out where the best like description or like where does it fit? Like if you're like, for example, I was TEDx speaker, where does that fit? Honors and awards or something like this. International exchange student. I know I struggled with this. I think I put it first in the experience, like in the work experience, but then I put it back here because it kind of shows that I was awarded um, this scholarship to be an exchange student. And over there, it doesn't really show because it's from 2017, so it needs to be highlighted. As you can see, there's not like one rule that you need to follow. You need to make sure that you need to like design again your profile for the viewer. Like if they went into work, will they scroll all the way down, or will they scroll to see the honors first? So no, I want to include this in the honors. Um, Make sure that you include your projects. I have included like projects who did not see like the light, but then they had a cool idea, so I did. Um, and interests are a great way to see. They're not. I don't use them much, but they're a great way to see connections and if this possible connection is really like one of the interesting people that you might have. You need to have, I think, Asma, do you have assessments like things that you got quizzed in LinkedIn with?
Yeah, honestly, I've never used the LinkedIn assessments.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen so many people like they put them for like programming languages or something, but yeah, I've personally never used them.
yeah. So LinkedIn, like, do you have like can have like assessments and stuff? It's more for the technical part. Like, I know so many people use it for like for the programming languages and stuff. It's also a great way to indicate your level at like a very competitive thing like programming. So
Uh,
I personally never used it, but
yeah, I'm so sorry, Taima, for interrupting again, but there is
yeah.
a question from Nada. Nada says, do you suggest a specific website or app that mentions all the types of honors and accomplishments in order to know which goes where?
Can okay? Do you suggest specific website? I can't like I don't really understand what you mean by this.
Yeah, Nada, could you clarify like what exactly?
You can open the
Yeah,
mic.
yeah,
It's okay.
sure. Hi.
Hi.
Like something that lists all the types of achievements because um, I want to know what kind of achievement of mine goes where in the skills or in the achievements or in the honors like you said.
I mean like a place like if there's like a place that you can evaluate this and know.
No, just to see like the types of the achievements or the honors I did because I don't know where to classify them.
Okay, so I think if I understood correctly, you can refer back to my profile or Asma's. But for example, things that you worked in go into the experience part. Like for example, any type of work. Um, you can also like there's like a tab for volunteering as well. So those kind of things are like kind of um, you know they're super like normal and typical, but for example if you need to highlight a very specific things like like exchange, going to an exchange or like doing a job shadow, you definitely need to put them somewhere in the accomplishments, honors or like projects. Just play with the name and it will happen. So I think this is a good look. I'll try to keep this like under an hour, so we'll move on. So the main components of LinkedIn. Why is it such a powerful tool? We talked a bit about networking, opportunities, and learning. Learning, it's more for like the LinkedIn Plus users. I personally don't use it for learning. I don't know if Asma does, but it has some cool features um, in the learning tab. You can also have like interpret learning as in having people in your network post videos or articles that that you are like interested about or things like this. As for the networking part, you need to make sure there are like three types of people that you have in your on LinkedIn. Who people who I personally know, as we said, like Asma, Haley, some tech girls, maybe people who I don't like know like in person like I saw, but maybe people who I virtually know like Fawzia or like Yasmina, um, who I bonded with virtually, who can give me recommendations or endorsements, be like active when I post like my work. Those are people who would like generally like give me like the human touch on the profile. Like I'm not a robot and I have people like fake like commenting stuff that like congrats, exclamation mark, you know. I have the second type, which is like possible connections, people who I don't really know, but I would like to get to know, because those people might add like to my like timeline valuable like resources, might be future mentors, might have strong links that they can introduce me to. So these people are really important to identify, and we will talk about them later because I think those are why LinkedIn is there. And we also have people who are interested in me, but not the opposite. For example, someone from my school, like from my high school, they might be interested to know where I am because I have such a good profile, but I'm not necessarily interested on what they are doing. So I recommend activating the follow button, just because the more connections that you have, the more LinkedIn, the more posts and stuff that you'll have on timeline that might not be relevant to you. And honestly, the algorithm and LinkedIn is like it sucks. So it either like gives you like super random stuff or it gives you like one person that fills your timeline. So you need to be aware of your connections and thoughtful on what appears on your timeline, because ideally that's the place um where most of your activity will be. As for people who you are interested in, first of all, be very professional. I cannot stress this enough. Do not send hi, hello. Um, do not send like invite, and then I have zero like mutual people between us, and then expect that a net like a connection will happen. Be very professional. Approach them with, hi, I saw you on a webinar and I really liked what you talked about. I'm looking for, I think Asma will show you some templates of that, of messages that she sent. Send personalized invites. It's like your chance. If there's like any chance for you for this person to accept you, it's by personalized invites. As we know, messages are restricted to your connections, or if you have like an in-mail option, which is like a premium thing. Other than that, personalized invites are just awesome. They're like very short, straight to the point, and they might be a good chance to start a conversation, not just a connection. I sometimes send this person personalized invite just to start a conversation. I'm not really interested in a connection. Also, do your homework. Again, if you can find this on Google, do not ask the person for it. Do not ask someone, hi, how can I apply to TechGirls? If you can Google it, it's not something that will open your doors for you. It will piss the other person off, and you will reach nowhere. So instead of saying how can I apply to TechGirls, you might say, what's TechGirls culture like? It's a more personalized, based on experience and like question. And do this like in everything, not just on LinkedIn. It's the key networking, for people. If they know if someone is serious, and they will be willing to help if they know that they did their homework. Asma.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's you said it all, do your homework. I get so many messages from, you know, like boys and girls who are interested in the scholarship programs that I'm in, and they do the extreme, like exactly what you said, Tema, like hi, or like how are you? Like it's very good to just like say, okay, hey, I hope that you're doing well. I'm really curious, like I'm planning to apply to this program, and I'm curious about like how your experience was, or like something like that, because you connect with me to learn from my experience, not for me to give you information that you can find online. So I think it's really important to iterate on that. Yes, so basically the what Tema just described, like connecting with people that you are interested in, is called cold emailing. So cold emailing, you email someone who you might not have like any immediate connections with, but you're very, very interested in like knowing them because they're either in a position that you're interested in being at, they work at a company you're very interested in, or they're just doing some project you would like to be involved in, or you would like them to be involved in one of your projects. So these are some of the messages that I've used in the past to connect with people about like different, like asking them for different things. So for example, regarding my book, I've been like doing a lot of reaching out to people who are active in the education slash technology scene. So I attended the MIT Arab Conference, which was like lead by Taima, and one of the presenters was a startup founder. He founded a startup which created like this platform that customizes like learning paths according to your learning style. So I found that that's incredible. It tells a lot that they did a lot of research. They identified so many gaps in education. So I thought they would be an incredible addition to my book. So I literally, right after the conference, I was like, hi, Ili, I loved your presentation at the MIT Arab Conference. And yeah, like the first sentence is like how I know them. The second thing is like a little bit about me. So it's very important to introduce yourself, so that they can have an idea of who you are. It's natural. People won't communicate with someone they don't know. So I would go just like, I'm a computer science undergrad at EUB. So in this case, I said EUB because he's also in Lebanon and he most probably knows what EUB is. In general, do not like do like EUB, Mina, don't use those kind of short expressions because people might not know what it is. So I included that because I saw that he already like he follows EUB. He worked with some people at EUB. He spoke at an event at EUB. So that's why I instead of saying American University of Beirut, and also because when sending a connection request, you have a limit of characters. So you need to make it like very, very short, like as short as possible, but at the same time, you need to maintain the meaning of your message. So yeah, I said, yeah, I'm a computer science undergrad at UB, and I'm writing a book about the challenges facing students in the MENA region. I would love to connect and learn more about you from your perspective on the future of education in MENA. It's very simple, this is how I know you. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing, and this is why I would love to connect with you. And just make it as genuine as possible. Some people sometimes would be like, "Hi, like I'm planning to apply to become a software engineer at Microsoft. Can you like help me with it?" It's very, first of all, it's very vague, and second of all, it's kind of rude because like it's yeah, like well, okay, so there's so many, you could just like simply go and apply to
Direct,
Microsoft.
the direct request.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just don't
exactly.
think direct requests.
Yes, exactly. Never do direct requests. Even if you do have one, fake it. You could show some genuinity. Be like, I would love to learn more about your experience at Microsoft. And honestly, when you do that, you have higher chances of getting a referral for a position at Microsoft. So in companies, employees can make referrals can give referrals to applicants. So for example, I'm part of this Facebook group. I think Tamer are also part of it. Maybe some of you are part of it too. It's called Muslim Women in Tech on Facebook. And there was Facebook. They posted this position, and they posted it like on Monday, and it was gonna close on Wednesday or something. So it was like very limited time. So I was like, okay, I really, really love this position. How can I go about like making myself getting noticed? So I connected with a previous person. Like I know that there is a woman, she's already known of giving referrals about Facebook. And I connected with her and I was like, hey, like I'm very interested in learning about your experience as a Muslim woman at Facebook. And like, how do you feel about the current blah, blah, blah? Like I was asking her about something that is relevant to her. Make sure that you're asking people about something that's relevant to them and not only to you. So yeah, that it's very important. Show that you're genuine. And
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and one more thing just to add, be as personalized as possible. I cannot stress this enough. You can see that three different messages for, I think, the same purpose. Each of them are personalized. You need to do your homework, or else you cannot personalize it the right way. And you also need to like define your network as Asma did. You need to make sure that to find people who relate to you, because that empathy part will help you get in, will help you get help eventually.
Absolutely. Connecting with university alumni, high school alumni, people who know what it feels like to be at your position is extremely important. I'm going to skip to like the last message. And that message, Ulfa, she was also an EUB graduate. She was from Tunisia and we were in the same scholarship program. We might not have interacted as much, but we knew each other from our scholarship events, and she knew me. I know her, but not directly. And I went to her profile and I found out that she's working at Kearney, which is a company I'm interested in doing an internship at. So I just connected with her and I was like, I hope that you're doing wonderful. I'm currently applying for the summer 2021 intern positions for management consulting. And I was wondering if you would have time for a quick 20 to 30 minutes mentorship call to catch up and hear about your experience as a consultant at Kearney. Let me know if you're free and I'd love to send you an invite by email. And also it's very important to be to put details. If you say, if you ask someone, can we go on a call? Like, I always assume that people are busy. So I'd be like, okay, would you have time for a quick maximum 20 minutes call? Just like to ask you a couple of questions, make things easier for them. And also I asked her to just like give me her email and I'll just send her like an invite. So I shouldn't make it harder for her to make some time for me. I need to offer her like, I'm going to send you an invite. Like, what would you prefer, Zoom or whatever, I'll send you, I'll be the one who's sending the link for the call. And the next, her reply, she was like, yeah, absolutely, I would love that. So, it shows that making things easier for the people you're asking things from is the way to go. And that's what I'm going to say.
Perfect. Okay, so once your connections are solid and you build the network that we talked about and your personal brand is ready, I don't like I think we talked about personal brand a bit. You need to dig deep. For example, as you saw, I'm really interested in tech and advocacy, so I made sure that this screams tech and advocacy. And visit by visit, comment by comment, you can see that people kind of brand Taima with tech and advocacy. And I've had like so many offers, like for internship or like being like part of a conference or a project, because we saw that you work in these kind of stuff. Would you like to be a part of this? Although I've never sent them my CV, we never talked, but you need to make sure that when you look at this profile, you know that I have a concentration. I have something that I'm passionate about and I'm working in it. So and the opportunities just begin to flow. For example, if I know Asma and I have her on LinkedIn and then she casually updates her work, I might see a post and then send it to her and be like, you might find this interesting. So just don't worry about the opportunities and focus on the journey, not the destination. Focus on being um, like also knowing yourself. Like, what do I like best? For example, you saw that Asma had like very abstract headline. I have mine is like long. Asma has like the very technical um, terms and reach out for any of those technical stuff. And I have like the more like community project oriented. You can see that Asma and I were studying computer science. We're studying technically the same thing, but we have like totally different approaches. So make sure that you also know yourself and like would you like to do. If I have a recruiter, if I have someone who would, if there's a job opening, what would it be? And then follow on. It doesn't have to be like very, very specific. I change mine a couple times a year, but then it's in the same general field. Okay, how can I know about opportunities on LinkedIn? First of all, check the profiles and career updates of your peers or people whose career interests you. I can go to Asma's profile and I can literally see like couple trainings that she's been to, companies that she worked in. I need to dig deeper and see if those companies still hire or like follow them. I can see that she went, for example, to a fellowship, and I can, if especially if someone is like older than me by 2 or 3 years, that's perfect. They're like the future map of yourself. I can see that, for example, I have a friend who's called like I am Alim, and she's older than me by like 2 or 3 years, but then she went on a scholarship to Stanford, and I saw that she went on that scholarship, and I think I might be a good fit, so I mark it on my calendar to check it out. And you can see that people who have like the same background as you getting those trainings or scholarships or fellowships, that you can definitely like you're within that range, so they kind of slowly become, the algorithm kind of detects what you like, what you interact with the most, and those begin to flow. The second thing is targeted invites. It comes with personal branding, as I said. If I know that this person that likes this, I definitely like I send all those kinds to them. I also need to make sure that I'm also interacting. I won't expect people sending me stuff and commenting on my stuff and like reaching out to me while I'm just like sitting still like a rock. Like for you need to think of your profile as an interpretation of yourself. It's not a CV, it's not something that's like super rigid, it's also not something that's like super personal and you begin like posting pictures and selfies on it. You need to be moderate. Um it's also pages, and so you need to follow, it's from my experience, you need to follow like youth related pages, like for example youth opportunities. Just google that and you will have like all the pages affiliated with it. You need to follow those small pages because they tend to care about their audience more. Um, whereas if you follow like Google, they will definitely like post about the general Google page. They will definitely like post about their work culture and brag about it. But if you like post like if you follow youth opportunities and then you comment, how can I get this? There's higher chances of you like getting that opportunity and getting more content that you generally like. If I want to see what Google is like, I can go to Instagram. Okay. One more tip is attend events and webinars that might interest you, and check if the speakers or attendees might be a great profiles to follow. And it's like something that Asma just did. She went to a conference. She saw that someone presented who actually like Illy was not the main speaker at the event. He was one of the people who presented their startups. But she was very interested and she was determined to find someone that might help her. So she reached out to him, and those webinars are perfect. You have the name right here, you have the email, you have the contact information. Sometimes you have like opportunities to send them messages. Perfect hub for opportunities, and perfect hub to find people that might help you as well. Also, you need to search is a very powerful tool in LinkedIn, as I showed you. I went to Legacy and I clicked on people, and then I can search for people who like I can write advocacy, and then I have people who worked at legacy but also work in advocacy or like affiliated with advocacy. And the search in the main LinkedIn, like in the main search in LinkedIn, is also very powerful. You can I personally went I was interested in a master's program in MIT, and I just like clicked just searched for the master's name, and I checked all the profiles that came up and saw their backgrounds. How can I prepare for this? So it's such a powerful tool, and it's in if you know the background of the person, nothing is impossible. If I know this person won Nobel, but then I know the background of it and I see the build up of skills and experiences, خلاص يعني I have the map. And always take time to catch up. And if the person you're interested in has a mutual connection with you, as to be introduced through them. Okay, so Asma and I think we caught up. So we were together in 2017, but then we disconnected for a bit, and we caught up later on. And now, like that small casual catch up, I discovered that we might work in the same field, and maybe Asma knows someone that I'm interested in, but I know that through LinkedIn. And it happened so many times that I messaged the mutual connection, and I was like, I'm interested in knowing this person. Can you introduce us? And sometimes one time I was interested in a person, and I messaged the mutual connection, and that person turned out to be their cousin. So the world is like super small, so don't hesitate to reach out or like ask for help, but follow the steps that Asma said. Be precise, be abstract, and always introduce yourself. Okay. Engaging your audience. Asma.
Yes. So what happens on LinkedIn? You don't just only connect with people. You also have the ability to post. Just like Taima mentioned, it's a social media network. So you could post articles, videos, whatever. But in this ability to post is very, very important because what's important is what happens after you connect with those people. They need to see what you're doing. They need to see who you are. You absolutely don't have to create posts every day. You don't have to treat it like it's Facebook or Twitter, but maybe like make some 2 posts per week or something, posting about the things that I'm just going to mention right now. So the first things that you could post about is it like your learning journey, like your growth process? Have you started learning Python, for example, and you made your first project and you would like to post about it? Did you lately get like some scholarship or award or internship or started some project, something you achieved? Post about it. Are you struggling with something professionally or academically? Are you struggling with a project, with understanding some kind of technical perspective? Post about it. Show and don't like post about it and be like, hey, can someone help me with this? It's rather, post that you are challenging yourself, post that this is challenging, but you believe that you have the ability to overcome it. So people shouldn't all see like the glitter and the happy facade of your journey as a student or as a professional. They also need to see like the struggle and the challenges that you're facing, because that's how they're going to see that you're someone who knows how to overcome those struggles and problems and challenges. So it's really important to post about anything you're working at and like emphasize on how this is a challenge for you and this is out of your comfort zone, but you're on this challenge and you can absolutely do it. The second thing that you could post about, and it's something that I really love, if you had a conversation with someone and they said something that resonated like with you on like a professional, academic, and sometimes in some cases personal life, um, in connection with what you're in your professional life, definitely post about it. Tag the person and be like, on a conversation on a Saturday or like Friday noon call with this and that, like I learned from this person that product management has at its core people management, and something that shows that you reflect on um, like your thoughts, and it also shows that you're talking with people, you're engaging with people. People engage with people who already engage with people. So it's natural. Definitely try to have those thoughtful communications, those thoughtful conversations, and share them with your network. The last thing that I'm going to mention is like giving back. So I think last Saturday I attended a meeting. It wasn't a meeting. It was more of a. It was like an event by TechPod. By the way, TechPod, they're so amazing. I'm gonna post their name in the chats. TechPod, they host so many professionals, you know, especially in the tech world, and they answer like so many questions about like internships. How do I get an internship, a job, blah blah blah. What is it like to be software engineer, cybersecurity engineer? You know, so many things. So I attended one of their events, and the person who was talking, she was an intern at Microsoft. She interned as a product manager, and right now she is a product manager. And one of the questions was like how were you able to, you know, get that first step of getting an internship at Microsoft? And she was like, you know what I did? She was a business major, so she had nothing to do with technology. So she was like, you know, I used my knowledge as a business major, and I would, you know, send emails or like messages to specific professionals within the company, and I would be like, I think I project that this like featuring this specific tool, introducing this tool on Microsoft would do this and that in terms of analytics. It would boost this, you know, giving them, you know, giving back. You know, on LinkedIn, you don't only ask for help, you also give from your own perspective. You share your knowledge. So she just sent that message, and she sent it to a product manager, and she was like, I think that using this kind of framework on managing like tools on Microsoft would increase efficiency and this and that. And she provided numbers. She basically did a mini research, and she shared it with someone, and she was like, what do you think about this? It's very, very important to ask for feedback. You know, what do you think about this? Or something like, I would love to hear what you think about this piece or like my work whenever you're free. And in most cases, believe me, like 99% cases, they do respond, and because you're sending them something that's relevant to their work. So and
Yeah.
also don't feel like not confident in yourself. Like don't feel like you don't have the knowledge enough. Like who am I to give insights to some manager or something? No, like those people, they do seek perspective from people outside of the company, because after all, you are part of their customers. So it is one of the ways you could keep on engaging with your audience, but like post about those mini research projects. You know, maybe you wrote an article. I saw someone who, like a girl, she wrote an article about the future. No, it was like ed tech, education tech industry in North African region, and I loved it. She made a Medium post. She posted about it in the on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and she got so much feedback from so many people. It was so much amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, Kautar, if it was you, that was amazing. Yeah, you're so amazing.
Yeah. Um, so we're running really, really tight with time. I have like back-to-back meeting now. I would have loved to take your questions, but I think Asma, do you have some time to stay on
Yeah, I
to
can
take
stay.
any questions?
Yeah.
I just wanted to have like a small like um a picture. If you can like have like your camera open. Let's see. And screenshot this. My LinkedIn was like all over the slides, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and just take a quick picture. 1, 2, 3. This was absolutely awesome. I hope that like you got some information. Sorry for running out of time. And if you need anything, just let me know, and we will try to have a call on it. So I'll leave you to Asma if you have any questions, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Taima. Yeah, so I just dropped my email and LinkedIn. I think the last slide had them, but they just like went really quick. So you can find them there. Please like feel free to reach out to me. You can also just like message me on Facebook. It's easier, it's quicker. Yeah, if you have any questions or any concerns, anything that's not clear, I would love to help you with it. Uh, Otherwise, just gonna let you go.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, of course.
Sorry. So like when we don't have that much experience to add on the experience part, like
Yeah.
what can you do about it? Because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in your position, when I just started, I had nothing on my LinkedIn except for my high school and TechGirls because yeah, I made my LinkedIn on 2017. What I would say is, first of all, ask yourself the question like, do I really not have any experience? I think that most of tech girls they have like some volunteering experience or some, they worked on some project or like some club or something. That's something that you could do, you know. It's very, very, very relevant for you. And you shouldn't forget like professionals or like people on LinkedIn, they look at you as a high school student. They don't expect you to have written a book and went on conferences and stuff. They look at you and they compare your achievements against your background. So if you're, for example, a high school student and you're active in the astronomy club or like the computer science club or any kind of club, it doesn't have to be related to technology. So they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, wow, like when I was a high school student, all of my concern was like to study. So this person is going beyond what they're supposed to do. I think it's incredibly actually like high school students are in a very, very advantageous position because the expectations are not that high. So if you have some kind of volunteering, some activities in clubs, it always shows as very, very impressive. So and don't worry, I mean, even if you're not involved in any clubs or anything, you can just like put your high school like the high school name, the could include the courses that you're taking as part of your high school curriculum. um yeah, and throughout time, like you're gonna build those experiences, you're gonna start applying to programs, like tech girls, including tech girls on your LinkedIn is an experience itself because you've done coding camp, you went to companies, you did job shadowing. That's an experience itself. So I see it, Lina, you asked like, what if you don't have much experience nor a degree or high level education? Yeah, as I said, you could just include your high school and your tech girls experience and any kind of experiences that you've had before. Um, yeah, sure, Fauzia. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm glad it was beneficial for you. Yes, for you, Lina, you asked, should we also add our hobbies, like what kind of sports we practice? If we usually do creative writing. Okay, so for hobbies, I mean, it depends. So, for example, if you do sports, if you play with like your team, like your school's rugby team or something, yeah, definitely include that. That's also an experience. Um, Thank you, Kautab. It was amazing to have you with us. But yeah, Lina, as I said, for example, if you do creative writing, if you have, for example, a page, like whether a Facebook page or an Instagram or something where you share your work, definitely include that, creative writer. It's also an experience. So absolutely do that. As long as your hobbies or whatever you do is kind of has some framework, yeah, definitely post about it. Oh, thank you so much, Soda. You're so amazing. I miss you a lot. It's been a long time, and I hope that we would be able to go back to Lebanon anytime soon. Awesome. Well, Lina, do you still have any questions? Soda, do you have anything you'd like to ask or like add? Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No worries, Lina. Yeah, always feel free to just message me on Facebook. You don't have to email me or LinkedIn. Yeah, and yeah, so that thank you. No worries at all. You two take care, and I'll talk to you soon.